All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the workshop of the Board of County Commissioners. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on our agenda is a letter of support to SHS. Ms. Jabour, would you can sit, you can stand, you can.
I will sit.
All right.
I can hardly tell the difference.
We didn't say that.
You'll just have
Just
to turn
remember
the
to
mic
pull those really close.
and then
and
push
turn
the
them on.
button.
There you go.
There you go.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I brought our Chief Financial Officer, Adam Conley, with me as well. SHS is applying for congressionally directed spending, which requires governmental entities' letters of support. The spending that we're requesting is for replacement of our CT scanner, which, as Adam said, is old enough to drive a motor vehicle at this point. Well past end of life. It's integral and very critical to our ability to assess and treat trauma patients. So our emergency services use it quite often in the emergency department. So that's the main item we're requesting. Also an X-ray machine and a nuke medicine machine that would have CT capabilities as well to act as backup. So that's what our request is.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add anything?
No, nothing to add. Just here to support and answer any questions that I can help with.
Okay,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner?
I think I was in here whenever they got this one before, because they had us go
Man.
out there and go through the process. All three of us commissioners went out there and actually had a CT scan.
Oh, wow.
Well, now, we could waive this support letter fee for something like that.
Sure, there's nothing wrong with doing anything like that. I'll see what I can
No, I
do.
think,
You worry, you say there's nothing wrong with us and we're sitting up here?
Just kidding.
There's gotta be something wrong with it.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues. Obviously, obviously the partnership that we have with you all out there, knowing what it takes for a rural community to keep our facilities as much as in order as possible. We do have to ask for these kinds of grants and letters of support and the spending. I do think you all know that we do support you. We had that conversation this morning in our County with the Coffee, or Coffee with the County, how critical our rural hospital is to all of us. So obviously we won't make this decision today because we cannot. It has to be done in a public meeting. This is just a workshop, but we will make it tomorrow, but I don't see anything that would be a hurdle in the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you all.
coming in.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, Mr. Dietrich. And Miss Grubbs, come on down. We're going to talk about our noxious weed cost share applications. With that, James, go ahead.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I think you're aware that our application to CDA was reduced by 25%, which means we got $15,000 coming from CDA. So to help offset that, we've got an opportunity to apply to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Habitat Partnership Program. And it is a $10,000 request that we're suggesting. It has no match. So we should be able to just spend that out and add that into our cost share program to help supplement the loss from CDA. So again, it has no match. It would be something, though, I would suggest probably spending out any W dollars first, because the CPW dollars would not be able to match another state grant. So in other words, it wouldn't qualify as match for the CDA monies. So that is our request, and we should be able to get that in first part of April here. Is when they do the review on that.
So if we're successful with this grant, as far as the Parks and Wildlife, then that would give us 25,000 overall
Right.
for the entire cost
Yeah.
share for this year for
Correct.
25? Okay.
And what did we spend last year?
We spent 30,000 last year.
Okay,
And sent some requests. We couldn't fulfill some
that's,
requests.
was my
That's
next
right.
question. Thank you.
We had more requests than we had dollars,
Right.
so
So it's less money by $5,000 this year?
that's
but,
correct.
Get your requests in early.
Yes. Yep.
Commissioner,
It is a
do you
very
have any-
popular program, and we'll get into the next part. We'll talk about the application. So,
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Copenager?
Not really.
Okay.
I think they do, the Habitat Partnership has had leftover funds most years.
I believe so.
They
Yes.
haven't even been dispersing all of them completely, so I think it's well worth the shot to try to get that, because I know you can even just, like every 3 or 4 years, you can apply to help get some fertilizer and stuff on your places and stuff through this same program. And
Through
and a lot of times they are not utilizing all these funds that are available.
Good.
It's part of the hunting
Yeah.
license
Yeah.
that's coming back. Now, county might as well try to get some of it.
Well, it'll
and
help.
utilize it, because
Yeah.
it's definitely
Well,
good.
and again, it's it's the best shot we've got at getting some work done on the ground. And it really, I think, really helps to work with the people that come in and apply for this extra funding. It's an opportunity to educate and try to get them to get the word out amongst the community also.
And this is just for chemical, not application.
That's correct. It's just for chemicals.
Just chemical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits into the existing program that we've got very
Right.
well.
Right. Other than it's gonna be short $5,000 of what it was last year, which is,
Yeah.
it's still something
Yeah.
better than nothing.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next.
Okay, the next thing we've got is the application for the cost share program. And yeah, you don't need it there. So I just wanted to go over it with the commissioners and make sure that this is the application and the way we've got it set up is going to work for the commissioners. So we really took our A-list weeds, and that is our first and that is our focus. However, you know how it is out there. There's a lot of Canada thistle, musk thistle, bull thistle. There's just stuff out there all over the place. And so since none of those are really within the A list, we also included some of the B list species. Basically, it's the same species as we were looking at last year. Now, we did get a warning from CDA. They don't want to pay for kochia. And so, hopefully, and of course, everybody's got kochia. It's coming out the ears everywhere. So hopefully we're hitting a lot of kochia in addition to, picking one of the nasties from this list. And, if we handle it that way, then I think we just kill every weed we can possibly get spray on. So.
I don't have any questions. I mean,
Are there any, this is a little bit off topic, but is there any applicator classes coming up? Do you know?
I'm not aware of any applicator classes specifically, especially in Montezuma County. And I
might be a
believe you can get
question.
online and take that at any time, through CDA.
Okay,
But any kind of local classes, I'm not aware of anything.
might be a question for extension.
Yeah, that would be a good
Are-
question for extension.
and this is kind of way off, but it's related. Are we still significantly short on applicators in this region?
Well, I don't know really how to answer that. I know we've got some businesses out there that are doing good, but I also know that some of the folks that we've been working with in the past intend to retire. So I'm guessing that there's going to be some opportunities out there. And, it just seems like all those guys are going gangbusters all the time. So
Yeah.
I think that there is opportunity out there for another, another applicator for sure. So. I see no conflicts in terms of, like competition with you. They all seem to be busy. So it's hard to get somebody lined up. So yeah, it'd be a great opportunity out there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's all I have.
Questions at all, gentlemen?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
James. We'll make these decisions tomorrow. Next is a discussion for a vested rights that were previously approved for a two-lot minor subdivision. Mr. Haley.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So this is the enclave that's just south of Brandon's Gate. The Hootens had been approved for a two-lot minor. They were separating off the house with some acres off of their 35-acre parcel. Since then, that has been sold. The new owner is looking at following through with the subdivision. They would like to extend that 5 acres up the west side of the property, still being a two-lot minor, but they are requesting a 3-month extension to the vested rights so they can get the survey completed and get the plat sent out and gone through the county review system to get that plat done. So it went through the process. I don't know if all 3 of you were there or not when it was approved.
I want to say, I think
so,
you and
yeah.
I
It
were.
was in 22.
Yeah,
Might have.
I was here.
We might have missed you, or did we miss you, Joe?
So all of the neighbors across the south, where that parcel starts there, that is the exact same location. There's only three houses on the northwest where the amended lot would extend to, but those were all there at the same time this was approved, so there's no new neighbors in play. But versus going back through the process and having to notify 20-some people and go round and round. Travis, if you'll scroll down to the next one, that's pretty much what they're looking at. Down the middle of that is kind of a high little ridge on that property. So the owners would like to maintain that with their house, with their pond, and then have all the eastern part in ag land still, which was the case before.
So they're going to retain the 2 5-acre lots basically to equal the 10 acres, correct?
Right.
And then the other,
So it'd just still be a two-lot minor, just expands that area a little bit more for what the new owners want versus what the old owners wanted. And like I say, there's really not any new people affected. Actually, it's going to put more of a buffer along that west side on the Cochita Drive because they're not planning on subdividing that more. Whereas before with the 30 acres, that possibly could have been 2 new lots back there on the northwest corner. There is irrigation available. The previous owner sold off the irrigation shares that went with that property, but that is the end of the distribution line of MVI water. It was all flood irrigated before, so now with Brandon's Gate in there, it starts to get more complicated. They need to put a pond in there to catch that.
all right, in front of us is basically a 3 months extension of their vested rights.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all
Right,
we're looking
yeah,
at.
because the approval date was April the 5th. They're on the surveyor's schedule. I don't know exactly when they can get out there. They were due to have been out there before, but I think that's when we had the big sloppy snow storm and
Are we still short on surveyors? I mean,
If
are
you-
they backed up?
If you count 2 is enough,
Okay.
we're short.
Yeah.
And one batch has been here forever.
Okay.
The, Goff Engineering is doing some, but, you know, they're an engineering firm, they're not really land surveyors, so
Right.
it adds its own level of just meeting our county surveyors' boiler template for how we do plats and stuff. Engineers, surveyors are different than land
Yeah.
surveyors.
Yeah.
They try to get too complicated and not hit the important part sometimes.
Okay. Questions? I don't have any, Don.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'll just add something on this issue. Don and I talked about this proposal. This extension of the vested rights is something that the board can do by statute for development. And then as far as the change from the 5-acre parcel to 10-acre parcel, in talking about it with Don, Don is of the opinion that this is still a 2-lot subdivision, and it's a substantially similar, basically, development plan that was approved by the board previously. So under that posture, that's something that the board could do with this vested rights extension. I
And
think
it looks pretty straightforward to me. The 5 is going into 10, the 10's 1 lot, and the other,
Yeah.
whatever it is, 30-some.
25.
25 is the other lot. So it's still a 2-lot. Nothing on Cochita has been added, nothing on the back of Brandon Gates has been added, so it's,
Right.
I agree, it's all the same.
And it would still reserve that access right-of-way from Aldridge on the south to Brandon's Gate, whatever road that may be in the future. That will remain.
That's where it would eventually tie.
Correct.
Or
And I would assume,
Potentially tie.
right, and I would assume a main pipeline would extend through there at some point too.
Okay. All right. Very good.
See you
All right.
tomorrow.
We'll deal with this one tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our VSO officers in here. We have Mr. Not, who's that old guy with you there, Travis? Is that who that is? Can't see him under that hat. Mr. Torres,
Front and center.
come on down. Travis, would you like to come down with him? All right. I'll turn this over to you, Travis.
All right.
Anderson.
Commissioners, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Torres for his military service to our nation. And second of all, he continued his service to our veterans. Not once, but twice. The second time, he got us out of a bind.
Yes, he did.
And that is very much appreciative, because when we lost our VSO, I called Rick and I'm like, hey, Rick, got a question to ask you. I'm on my way. And he was on his way. And his wife and family sacrificed to continue his service to our veterans. So what I would like to do, and the commissioners would like to do, is present him with a plaque for his service to this county. I know this is probably the second one you've got, maybe, I don't know. But it says, presented to Rick Torres for unwavering and continued public service to Montezuma County. Mr. Rick Torres' dedication, self-sacrifice, and the spirit of corps to our Montezuma County veterans, their families, and our community is and will always be treasured. So, gentlemen, if you would mind going down and getting a picture with Mr. Torres. Because he's indicating he's going gardening, but we'll get you back. We'll get you back.
There's room at extension for that.
Honor and a pleasure. And thank you for your trust and confidence in me. You betcha, sir. All right. Oh, yeah, you're good right there.
Makes you look short.
All right, suck it in.
Okay, Travis, you look like you have 2 hits.
I'll get really close to
No,
Jabour.
my wife.
There you go.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. For all you've done, I'm a little flat. Thank you, gentlemen. Of course.
Travis, do you have anything that you would like to say, or?
So I was sharing with commissioners before the meeting started that I feel very fortunate. Rick, the last 3 months has been an amazing teacher, mentor. You couldn't have asked for anybody better that actually cares about the veterans and the community here. So I've been very blessed to learn from him. And I hope to continue that level of service. And that's what my goal is, but I really do thank Rick for all that he has done and has shown me over the last 3 months. So, thank you, commissioners.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
And you have another, might want to put your date out. You're having another special meet and greet, or?
Yeah, so this coming Thursday, which would be the 27th, I think it is, at 1 o'clock over at the annex, we're going to have a cake. He doesn't know about this. He might now. Hopefully he's not listening. But I figured he's probably going to learn about it anyway. But we are going to have a get-together. Legion, VFW, DAVs all bringing stuff. So, but that's going to happen this coming Thursday.
1 o'clock.
All right.
1 o'clock.
Might
Thank you.
want to notice that for us.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. Okay. Now we have our discussion as it's related to the solar and the land use. You want to come on back down here, Dawn? So part of this, what we had in our packet for review over the weekend was the COSA, the Colorado Solar and Energy Storage Ready. This is one of the references that Mesa County had used. This is one of the references that Commissioner Davis from Mesa County sent to me, and I've also passed this along to Don. I think specifically on page 11, Don, you brought up or highlighted to me something that you'd like to talk about, or maybe we should all talk about.
Right. It's just a short paragraph, but it addresses the transfer of ownership so that it requires that the county commissioners under this approved project permitting that the commissioners have oversight in approving the sale of the solar farm, whatever you call it, the system, to a new buyer, so that the conditions can be reviewed, sureties, bonds can be transferred or supplied by the new owners or proposed owners, so that all the conditions are made available to them, as also possibly a background check as to how they do or don't operate their systems and their track record. Just another level of insurance, so that some other new startup doesn't come in and then default on the whole thing, and maybe the operation goes south.
Correct, which I think then, Commissioner, if I might, this was kind of like one of your concerns along with our concerns, is if, say, a company comes in now and a year down the road, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, sells it and basically washes their hands of it, this would allow us to make sure that everything follows that project to its end-of-life existence. So that way we always have something on the hook. And this kind of spells it out pretty well. Was there anything else in there that you saw or that you guys might have saw?
On that same page, that, what is it, CLEAR, C-L-E-E-R? I forgot what it stands for. But it helps entire communities do an energy assessment. And I think that might be beneficial to Montezuma County.
So I think what they've done is they've actually looked at all of them. Again, I haven't talked to COSA personally myself, but they've kind of done this study throughout the state of Colorado. Is that correct?
Right.
And that's part of, as it refers to here, is the NREL report, which we had that last, or 2 weeks ago. So they kind of all mesh together, and these reports are kind of melded together so that we can make the best decision out of all of them to work within the land use code. The NREL report has a lot of really good stuff in it. And thank you to our attorney who's, I guess it was you,
Yeah, it was me.
Stephen, that sent all that to us. But out of this one's a little bit shorter, but I think Don brought up a good point on this page 11. You know, we want to make sure that this follows that project for its entirety of its life. And something can't just be sold within a couple of years without everything going along with it. Any questions or comments, Stephen, that you saw?
I'll just say I liked, just sort of as a helpful prompting mechanism here, I think it's the second document called Solar from Vision to Code, just kind of really laid out in a pretty concise way, as Commissioner Candelaria mentioned, some of the different considerations for the board in evaluating proposals like this. So they kind of run through pretty succinctly, I think, you know, some of the different considerations, and they're just all laid out in the table of contents as Travis has here for us, you know, different things like setbacks, certain details as far as zoning consideration, grading, visual, screening, noise and glare mitigation. You know, we've already had some discussion about decommission plans, and so that's specifically mentioned, approval criteria. And so I thought it was also a pretty good information tool to present all these ideas in one place for the board's consideration. So I thought it was helpful to review.
Anything else, Commissioner?
I read it, but I want to go back and reread it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I think this is something that we're gonna have to read 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
because every time you look at it, you're gonna probably catch
Find
something else.
something else.
And I'm going to catch a nap once in a while, too.
Well,
Especially at 3 in the morning. You know.
so anything else you wanna add to it, Don?
No, that's basically it, and I agree with Stephen that pretty well covers everything.
Yep.
And outlines it pretty well.
So what land use codes have we looked at so far? We've looked at Mesa County,
Mesa, Fremont,
Fremont, Delta.
which are the ones that are the most current that have adopted regulations that were within 24, the year 24, I believe.
Right.
On the eastern slope, there are some others that have done it just prior to that, but I don't think we've looked at anything on the far eastern slope.
No, we haven't. We basically have looked more on the western slope for like and similar type counties.
Is there, I mean, it might be repetitive, but anything out of the energy office for the state? Have you looked? I haven't looked.
No, there's a whole lot of information, but it's all over the place.
Okay.
It's not as succinct and something that's geared toward, you know, getting a short, simple, straightforward code section.
I think that's more just for the energy development of it. It's
Right.
not specifically for land use, what we're looking at,
Right.
because land use is what we
Must be getting
control
cloudy.
or govern.
Yeah.
We're losing power.
I think those are just resources for us to capture so that we can
Right.
put together our land use code. Again, like the NREL report states that, you know, you should use the NRCS office to see what kind of terrain, geographical area, so on and so forth, whether it's irrigated, non-irrigated.
They're
those
a good
resources are
resource for
there.
that,
Yeah.
for the geography of the ground out there.
So as far as the energy office, I think is all they have is what the different resources for energy.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
you still have good direction, Stephen?
I think so. One thing Mika and Sheen and I are going to work on while they're here is incorporating some of those comments from you, specifically Commissioner Candelaria, into some of the things we've talked about as far as starting kind of with the Mesa County code as our starting point, but trying to incorporate the board's comments into kind of a starting point as a rough draft, so to speak, for some specific regulations for our county. So,
Okay. All right. Commissioner, do you have any other points you want to bring up? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Well, then I think that is all we have for the day. Thank you all. Appreciate you coming. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.